All right, I'm Tommy from 97.9 GRD, and I've got Leigh and Hayley from Pop Evil. It's good to see you guys again.
It's good to be back home. It's great seeing you. Absolutely.
Well, you know, I'm going to start with the album, and what's really exciting to me is when you guys made Up, and I talked to you, Rockin' the Range about this, and I'm like, how are you going to top Up? It's what, because every album Pop Evil has done, in my opinion, has been a progression. Most bands start out great and fall apart. Sure. You guys started out good and got better and better and better. And you get to Up, and I'm going, this is my favorite album. How are they going to top this? Yeah. And how do you look at that when you go into the studio? Because that, man, one of my favorites that you guys have made. I loved every single song on that.
Oh, thank you for that. And it was Up was a different time for me personally. You know, I mean, with all the darkness that was around me during the Onyx record, I just wanted more light in my life. I wanted more positivity. I wanted to have fun again. You know, and Up was the album that I needed personally. And again, Hayley came towards the middle of that album cycle. It was obviously we could have never foreshadowed how this was going to be such a pivotal album for the band. You know, new drummer, new member. It just we had some of our biggest tours with Rob Zombie and Disturbed, so it really was a turning point for the band that I think we really kind of woke up and were like, when we sat down to write this record, we really were like, what have we really missed here? We want to write this record for our fans, you know, like what did they want? And I think when you're 4 albums in, you kind of hear from the, you know, you kind of can sense what your fans want, and we kind of know what our set list is missing and things that we feel need to be better. And we sat down, and we've always felt like the evil aspect of the band, you know, was always kind of, you know, put in the backside. And so when we started this record, we were like, we're starting heavy first, and you know, we definitely want to showcase the yin and yang more than we ever have for that our band. That's why we called it Pop Evil, is that so we would have influence from metal, rock, and alternative. I mean, that's always been where the love has been from us personally. So being able to finally put a collection of work where we feel like this is moving forward, this is the best effort we've made, you know, we're excited. And I think that's when you really feel it, when you have that energy when the album's done, when you're proud of that. And we were certainly proud as Up too, but you know, we're definitely, this is a whole different chapter for us. Yeah.
Well, that's my next thing, because George was so kind to send me a copy, or a digital copy, and I listened to it 12 times last night. And I'm like, they did it. They did what I didn't think they could do. They made this new amazing record. I'm telling you, you're going to love this thing. Every single song matters on this record. And I mean, I was so excited, and I was like, you know, it's hard to get a record that I like. You know, we grew up in the record days, and so we want to hear 12 good songs, not like, oh, they got 2 and the rest are just a bunch of one-song fillers. Yeah. No, that's the biggest compliment you can give, and we spent a lot of time doing that. We want you to be able to listen to Waking Lions 1, to Rewind is the name of the song at the end, where you can, you know, have peaks and valleys. It's very relatable to life, you know. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, and you get all that emotion on this record, but still musically, sonically, I mean, it's our best one yet. I mean, and it starts with Hayley right here. I feel
like there's, on the album, there's something that has grown. Like, you know, you take 155. I feel like there's a version of that has progressed on this new album. I feel like there's elements of Onyx that have progressed on this album, and the same with all the Up kind of stuff. It's progressed on this album, and taking the time with this album was the key, I think. Coming away from the road and not doing it in a rushed manner. You know, we really kind of took stock of everything that they've done. You know, I'm the newbie here, but taking stock of everything they've done for the 10, 12 years, and really put the love into it this time, and I think it shows, and I'm really proud of this album.
Well, it does show.
For the guys as well, you know.
Well, it does show, and I'm going to get to you now, Hayley, because I remember when you came in on that touring cycle, it was just before you played at the show at the other station I was at. Yeah. And so you're in a touring cycle, you come in, and so you're in it, you're touring and you're playing, but now you got some skin in the game. You're on the record. Yeah, so how does it feel to get in the house with the rest of Pop Evil?
It feels great. It feels really great. You know, obviously I knew that working on the road with them worked, you know, we got on well and we play well on stage, but yeah, we hadn't made a record together and we hadn't been in the studio together, so that was a whole new chapter, and we just had a great time, you know. It just, I mean, there was no reason for it not to work, but still, you know, if you haven't made a record with someone, you don't know how they're going to be in the studio, so it was, you know, still new things to learn about each other, and we just, yeah, we had a blast. awesome.
But that's really when you feel like, you can play on tour with somebody, but now you're in the band. When you're in the studio, that's a whole other thing. There's something on you on there, and that Ex Machina and Art of War, nice job on your part. The whole thing was solid.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun with Ex Machina. There's 3 different drum kits on that song. And now live, my new kit is a blend of those 3 kits. I have the sort of standard big rock kind of zone. Then I had this kit that was tuned in a really weird way. And so that's all the kind of strange sounds that you hear in the verses. And then I had an electronics world. So that's all blended for live now. So yeah, 3 kits in one. It's going to be an exciting tour.
And you drummers out there, especially you guys, get ready to be humbled because Hayley brings it. I've seen it, and now on that record, I'm really excited that you're going to be probably putting some of that onto some of the other songs from the past too as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Speaking of Art of War, that Sun Tzu's book. Yeah. Any relation to the song Art of War, or is just the title? I read the book and I thought, well, maybe, but I'm just going to ask you.
I just think that like any good piece of work, even the Bible in a way, it's always evolving, and I mean, everyone's perspective of a certain theme is different, and we just want to do Pop Evil's perspective of Art of War, in our vision, and it's from the aggressive angst of the energy of the guitars to Hayley's drumming to the aggression in the vocal. I mean, we're experimenting with things we had never done before, and that is part of the Art of War in itself, So again, not being afraid to touch topics and explore different things musically and lyrically the Art of War was a big step in that direction,
Now, the self-titled album, Pop Evil, you guys released Waking Lions for that first single. Great song. It's killing it at rock radio on 2 stations that I've been involved in. So, yeah, great song. But when you have a record this strong, what is the process? How do you pick the first child to show the world? Because they are. People don't realize these songs are their children, and everybody feels something maybe different somewhere else. But how do you decide? How is this one going to be the one? Because sometimes that puts an image into people's mind, and you want that one to represent you the best.
Well, honestly, I mean, the band is usually pretty good about it. I mean, obviously managers are involved. I think at least with this record, the first singles we're always usually on the same page. After that, I mean, other than maybe me every now and then, I don't think the band really cares. I mean, we believe in all those songs. I mean, if that's how it's got to work, we listen. I mean, even with me, if I'm not agreeing and the managers feel, I mean, that's what they get paid for. You got to trust them. If they really feel that's what they want to do, cool. I mean, every now and then you might get a little more opinion. Hayley might think that, or this band member might think that. But for the most part, we usually understand if someone wants that to be a single. Why? Okay. Once you explain it, like Waking Lions, we all felt like that was the song. That wasn't even a question. Like the band knew it.
That was such a big message that we wanted to portray. And that's where we're at. We want to encourage people to stand up and face their fears and go with courage, and that's the whole big thing with Pop Evil, Footsteps, it's that positive message, and Waking Lions is that progression,
Well, it's a great song and a great record by all means. Now, you talked about managers and stuff. You better tell your manager, be legendary. You better be in TV shows, sports promos, movie trailers. I mean, come on. Do you feel that? I mean, when I heard the song, I thought, man, be legendary. Come on.
It's so much fun to play as well.
I almost kept the real story. I almost kept this. I wrote this song top of the year last year, and it's similar to Take It All in that same style, so I almost held it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this song now. And then of course once the band added the juice and we started hearing it, it started to turn a little bit, but I was still like, I don't know. And then after we even just played it last night, I think so Legendary is the one that just keeps growing on me, and to see the fans' response. I mean, it's funny, we were telling this story about, we usually judge the fans depending on the show based off Deal with the Devil. So when we play Deal with the Devil, if they lose their mind, it's going to be a good show. It's a Pop Evil crowd, Yeah. And when we played the first show, we did a little show before the tour in Lynchburg just 2 days ago, and they went crazier to Legendary than they did to even Deal with the Devil. So it's something special about that song. It's one that I just, hey man, when there's a higher power and there's a plan for the song, sometimes it just does its thing. So hopefully Legendary sticks its head up in the ways it needs to, and the managers will do what they got to do, and people will, take a liking to the song like we do. But I think the no-brainer for Hayley and I, it's going to be a big live song. Yeah. That's all we care about. So
I know I get to see a WWE coming out, be legendary.
You got it, man. You got it. You got it.
Now, I'm sure you didn't have that thought process when you wrote the song. So, you know, I mean, that's not going into it. It's probably an afterthought, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh, with Legendary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm very sports-driven, so I think that I write in that wheelhouse just naturally because I think in this business you need to be motivated. So you don't get those fruits that, you know, you don't get that excess fruits that bands did in the 80s, you know. So the music and learning how to motivate yourself. So I think Legendary was one of those things that for me it was like, okay, you know, and just quit talking about it. Let's put it down there to just use that as a mission statement to get up and remind ourselves to be legendary every day, whether that's just being better people, better bandmates, better friends. Like it can start today in small situations that can lead to legendary things in the future. So, you know, it's definitely a cool song. It's definitely one of our favorites. We're really excited. Even as we've leaked some of the snippets of the album, I mean, people respond immediately to that song. So it's, I guess, look out. We'll see.
Well, one thing I noticed listening to the record, and I highly suggest people get this record, it's not one long song. There's lots of tones, there's lots of textures, there's variety. That's the sign of a great album. When you remember Led Zeppelin, I'm not trying to compare apples to oranges, but when you listen to a record, it was all over the place. It wasn't just this one long song that's repetitive. This is a great record. There's some deep cuts too. What was that, Birds of Prey? Love the lyrics on that. And that, what is it, A Crime to Remember?
Yes.
Oh my God, those are great songs. Those could be singles too. I mean, there's like most every single song on this record could be played on radio. It's got to be exciting.
Well, I mean, radio broke our band, so I mean, we're definitely always grateful. We're always thinking about our fans that listen to radio. I mean, I'm a firm believer in radio. That's how I always would find new music. I know in today's streaming society that is the music business, it's harder. You know, people have different outlets that they do, but you know, I still feel to me radio's, maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm not, but I'm a big radio fan. I love the fact to just get in the car and if radio's not just about music, it's about a city, it's about culture, it's about you know, small businesses, you know, you know, surviving. It's about awareness for what's going on in your community. So I'm a big advocate. We're always thinking about it, and I think maybe that's, I mean, I guess it's on our mind in some degrees. We obviously, I think, especially when we thought about the first single, you know, like when it comes to that, but we're just trying to write catchy songs, man, that inspire us to get on stage and have fun. And you know, when I look back at Hayley, we're smiling because we're playing, you know, maybe a song that we think about the story behind it. You know, I mean, maybe it's a story that maybe it's how she played the drum, maybe it's how she tuned the drum that moment. But there's moments with each band member that we have that kind of give us that, you know, fun and what being in a band's all about, that camaraderie. So, you know, maybe I think maybe it just happens naturally 5 albums in that radio songs. Maybe we're just, hey, we're very much influenced by 97.9. I've been growing up since day one listening to this station. So I mean, I'm very much influenced by Western Michigan in general. So.
Well, I'm very excited about the new record.
Thank you.
Get it. Self-titled Pop Evil. Don't miss it, and go see these guys and gal. You're going to have a good time with these guys all year long. So go see Pop Evil. Real quick, I'll blow through some stuff. The Olympics are happening. What's your favorite winter Olympic sport?
Man, I love curling, man.
we were watching curling the other night. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, the snowboarding when they kind of do flips and stuff like that. Oh no, I like ice skating though. I love watching figure skating. That's a beautiful thing.
Speed skating, I'd say, but a little figure skating for her. Speed
when
skating,
it looks so beautiful and then they just fall over.
Yeah.
It's the evil side of me.
Triple axle. She's talking about that triple axle. Okay. Yeah.
Dog or cat?
You know what? I'm allergic to both, so but I would say dog.
Dog.
Yeah.
What else I got here? Favorite movie?
Back to the Future.
E.T.
That's a good one.
Do I have anything else? Your favorite part when you're actually at home? The favorite part of being home, whether it's a meal, a family, whatever. What is that?
My own bed. I think that's the only thing I ever bought when we first broke. I was like, I'm buying a bed. So I bought like an expensive mattress. I just melt into it. So that's it. I don't get to sleep in it very often. So that's for me, bed.
And you, Hayley?
A good old English pub. Preferably like 12th century or something a bit haunted.
We don't get that here. That's amazing when we hang with that. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, just English pubs. You know, there's something about the vibe of an English pub.
You know all the spots, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. She just recently we were just in London about a week ago. You know, and Hayley took us to a couple of great spots. I mean, it's just whole different level. If you haven't been to England in general, you need to get out there. So it's awesome, and it's great having that aspect in our band too. So we kind of show her the secret things here, and she shows us the stuff there.
Two perspectives from across
the
pond.
Yeah. Certainly older over there. So she's got a lot more history in a different way. So it's cool.
Leigh and Hayley, Pop Evil.
Yes.
Get the record. Go see them. I'm Tommy. It's 97.9 GRD.